There's a hidden power that shapes every destiny. A force that builds worlds, moves nations, and changes lives. It's called agreement. And yet, most people underestimate it. They think success is built only by talent, by effort, by intelligence. But history has proven again and again that agreement is what multiplies power. From the very beginning, agreement has been the heartbeat of creation. Even God, when he spoke the world into existence, said, "Let us make man in our image." That wasn't a solo act. That was divine collaboration, a unity of purpose, a perfect harmony of will. When two or more come together with one heart, one vision, one confession, the impossible begins to tremble. Mountains move, doors open, destinies shift. But let's start with you. Yes, you. Because agreement doesn't begin out there. It begins inside. You must first come into agreement with yourself, with your purpose, your calling, your vision. You can't say, "I want to change my life," and in the same breath whisper, "I'm not good enough." You can't declare, "I'm going to win," while secretly believing, "I'll probably fail like last time." That's disagreement, and disagreement cancels power. The first and greatest war is not between you and the world. It's between you and your own doubt. It's between what your heart believes and what your mind fears. Agreement means alignment. It means your thoughts, your words, and your actions march to the same rhythm. No hesitation, no contradiction. That's when power flows. The moment you decide, truly decide, that you are who God says you are. That's the moment heaven starts to back you up. But let's talk about another dimension of agreement. The people you walk with. No one climbs alone. No one wins alone. Even eagles fly in the same wind. If you want to go higher, pay attention to the people who surround you. Are they lifting you or limiting you? Are they agreeing with your vision or arguing against it? Because agreement creates atmosphere. The atmosphere creates outcomes. Think about this. When a symphony plays, every instrument is tuned to the same key. If even one is off, the whole sound suffers. That's how life works, too. You can't harmonize with people who play to the tune of fear, jealousy, or small thinking. You can love them. You can pray for them. But you can't build with them. Because where there is division, there is weakness. But where there is unity, there is strength beyond calculation. When you agree with people who believe in you, who see what you see, or who speak what you speak, something supernatural happens. You amplify each other's faith. You multiply each other's courage. You unlock doors that no single key could ever open. Even Jesus said, "If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them." That's not poetry. That's a principle. Agreement draws heaven's attention. It's like a divine password. It activates power. But the enemy of progress knows this too. That's why he attacks unity. He plants seeds of offense. He whispers lies to separate hearts. He makes you doubt people who were sent to help you. Because he knows, the moment you divide, you lose strength. That's why marriages break, teams crumble, nations fall. Not because of external attacks, but because of internal disagreement. Where there is no agreement, even talent fails. Even brilliance fades. But where there is agreement, even ordinary people do extraordinary things. Let's make it real. Maybe you've been trying to build something, a dream, a business, a new life. And it feels like you're pushing alone. You're doing everything right, yet progress is slow. Maybe the reason isn't that you lack resources. Maybe it's that you lack agreement. You've surrounded yourself with people who nod politely but don't believe. People who say, "Yeah, that's great." But deep down, think, "That'll never work." You can't build with that. You need people who see what you see, who agree not only with your idea but with your spirit. People who say, "Let's do this," not because they're following you blindly, but because they've caught the same vision. But agreement isn't just about people. It's also about timing, about seasons, about aligning with the moment. There's power in being in agreement with the time you're in. So many lie frustrated because they're fighting the season they're in. They're comparing their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. But wisdom says, agree with your season. If you're in a season of preparation, embrace it. If you're in a season of learning, lean into it. If you're in a season of building quietly, don't resist it. Because every season, when agreed with, becomes powerful. But every season you fight drains your strength. And then there's the highest level of all, agreement with God. When your will, your words, and your ways align with His, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you start walking in divine rhythm. God doesn't bless confusion. He blesses clarity. He blesses unity. He blesses agreement. When your dream aligns with His purpose, the whole universe starts moving pieces to make it real. Doors open that shouldn't open. People appear at the right time. Opportunities find you. It's not coincidence. It's alignment. So ask yourself today, what have I been agreeing with? Whose voice have I been saying yes to? Because agreement is not passive. Every day you're entering into agreement, either with fear or with faith, with excuses or with excellence, with your past or with your potential. What you agree with, you authorize. What you authorize, you attract. If you constantly agree with the language of failure, you'll live surrounded by it. But if you start to agree with victory, if you start to speak it, act it, believe it, the atmosphere around you will change. You'll walk differently. You'll think differently. You'll create differently, because the power of agreement doesn't just change what happens to you. It changes what happens through you. There's power when a man agrees with his calling. Power when a woman agrees with her worth. Power when families agree to forgive and rebuild. Power when friends agree to chase greatness together. Power when leaders agree to serve, not just rule. Agreement builds cities. Agreement heals wounds. Agreement births miracles. So today, decide what you'll agree with. Agree that your past is over. Agree that your future is possible. Agree that your dream is worth fighting for. Agree that your pain will not be wasted. Agree that your time is now. Stop debating your destiny. Stop negotiating with doubt. Stop signing contracts with fear. You don't owe your weakness another conversation. Come into agreement with strength. Come into agreement with purpose. Come into agreement with faith. There's a shift waiting for you, but it won't come until you agree. Agree with your vision. Agree with your calling. Agree with the God who created you for more. Because once you agree, once you truly, deeply, powerfully agree, the universe can't stay silent. Heaven can't stay still. Miracles can't stay hidden. Everything starts to move. You were never meant to live divided. Not in your mind, not in your words, not in your circle, not in your purpose. The power you're looking for is not somewhere out there. It's in the power of agreement. So stand tall, speak life. Align your words with your vision. Surround yourself with believers, not doubters. And most of all, come into agreement with the truth. You were made for greatness. Because when you do, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand against you. This is the power of agreement.